Hello and thank you for joining me for this week's Oracle card reading for week commencing the 29th of January. We're coming to the end of our first month of 2018. I hope that this month has been fruitful for you in some ways and has allowed you to learn in others. So this week we're going to be using the Soul Journey Oracle cards to see what path our soul is on for the week of the 29th of January. So we'll pull 3 cards to signify the beginning, middle and the end of the week. So the first card that comes up for us this week is Balance, and it says, I bring a state of perfect harmony into my world and I do so without judgment. Wow. I bring a state of perfect harmony into my world and I do so without judgment. This is a card that is really asking us to balance different aspects of our lives. This could be we balance our work life situation. So perhaps we are socializing more than we are putting efforts into our work, or perhaps we're working too hard and not spending time with our friends or family members. So it's finding that balance on a practical and very earthy level, but also incorporating that balance of who we are. You know, thinking about things that we accept in our lives and things that we aren't going to accept in our lives, and just finding that harmony within us. When we find that sense of balance and peace, we find that sense of harmony. So it may be that we have to do some deep soul searching at the start of this week to ask ourselves what needs to be balanced emotionally, spiritually and practically within our lives so that we can live a more harmonious life. As we move into the middle of the week, the card that comes up is Judgment, and it says, I understand that everyone has their own unique path and challenges. Everyone has their own unique path and challenges. Sometimes we may look at another person or a group of people and think that they have their lives sorted, and sometimes judgment can creep in, jealousy and envy, but every single person on this planet has their own unique set of challenges, and the main purpose for that is that we as humans learn vast amounts of knowledge, particularly spiritually, through adversity and through challenge. So there is no one that exists on this earth that doesn't have those challenges. So it's about not pushing our judgment onto others, because we don't always know what's going on in other people's lives. And other people might not always know what's going on in our lives. So it's about refraining from pushing that judgment onto other people or group of people, and just seeing things objectively and understanding that we all have our own unique battles that we go through, and that holding compassion and love rather than blame and judgment. And as we move to the end of the week, the card that comes up is Failure, and it says, I understand that a mistake is only an opportunity to learn. If we fail at something, it's okay. A lot of us are perfectionistic or hypercritical of ourselves, especially within the spiritual sort of community, because there's always that strive to have self-development and improve ourselves and become more aware and enlightened in some way. But there will be failures. There will be failures in terms of our careers. There will be failures within our romantic relationships, within our friendships or family relationships. There will be failures in terms of our fitness goals and every single thing you can think of. There's going to be an area, an element, a time, a moment that we fail. But it is about not focusing on the failures and just understanding that that is how we learn. Great growth and potential come from those failures, because what happens is we learn not to do the same things again, to change, to grow. And we would never do that if we did everything right the first time. There would never be any room for growth. So this week, It's a bit more of, not so much a week of being motivated and going for goals and being all fired up. There may be a lot of tears this week of release, because we're finding that inner balance and that harmony within ourselves and figuring out what needs to change to make us feel more whole. Then we're releasing judgment on others and ourselves, and understanding that everybody on this planet has their own challenges, not being harsh on other people. And then at the end of the week, particularly, not being harsh on ourselves and not being too critical of our own shortcomings, because we all have different strengths and we can focus upon those strengths, but also understand that it's okay to have those failures and to not hold that against ourselves for the rest of our lives. Learn from it, pick ourselves up and move on. So that is what is going to be happening this week for the general energies globally. But if you'd like to know what's going on in your own personal life, then you can order a reading from my website, which is www.alyssacruz.com. Until we speak again next week, I'm sending you so much love and joy. Thank you so much for joining me this week, and lots of love, and take care for now. Alyssa.